to the Echo Archives. My name is Ava, and today we're going to be talking about a rather famous legend called Bloody Mary. Now, in case you don't know who that is, she is a ghost that lives in a mirror, and I'm going to be talking about most of her backstories because there are a lot of versions of what actually happened to her, and also be telling you the one that I'm most familiar with. Oh, I see Cheeks is probably coming to join us. Hi! Hey, do you want to say hi? She's here. Do you want to learn about some creepy ghost? Yeah. So, okay. Goodbye then. Anyway. Bloody Mary has always been a legend that kind of creeped me out as a little kid. I remember one time I went to my friend's birthday party. I was about 7 years old, and I met his cousins, and we were trying to summon Bloody Mary. It was really stupid. I don't even think we had a mirror. I feel like we went into a bathroom, into a mirror, and then we said, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, come to life. But I'm pretty sure come to life is a part of the ritual. I don't know why we said that, and then we were just running around screaming that at the top of our lungs. I feel so bad for everybody else who had to listen to that. Oh, Cheeks is sitting on the floor with us. Hi down there, Cheeks. She's so cute. So the legend goes, if you stand in front of a mirror, I think you put candles in front of the mirror too, because I've heard versions of this ritual where you put the candles in the mirror, you close the door, you turn the lights off, and you say the name Bloody Mary 3 times into the mirror, and she'll show up in the mirror. I'm not really sure what she does from there, but apparently there's some that say she cuts you, steals your eyes, or pulls you into the mirror and possesses your body or something. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of things that we have to talk about. With that, let's get into some of the legends about her. Alright, so I'm reading from the Wikipedia, what the Wikipedia says about Bloody Mary right now. Bloody Mary is the legend of a ghost, phantom, witch, or spirit conjured to reveal the future. She is said to appear in a mirror when her name is chanted repeatedly. The Bloody Mary apparition may be benevolent or malevolent, depending on historical variations of the legend. Bloody Mary appearances are mostly witnessed in group participation play. Okay, here's what it says about the ritual. Historically, the divination ritual encouraged young women to walk up a flight of stairs backward holding a candle and a hand mirror in a darkened house. As they gazed into the mirror, they were supposed to glimpse a view of their future husband's face. There was, however, a chance that they would see a skull or the face of the Grim Reaper instead, indicating that they were going to die before they would have the chance to marry. Wow. Why would people be encouraged to do this? I mean, I know this is a long time ago, but geez, oh my god. In the modern ritual that began to coalesce in the late 1960s, Bloody Mary allegedly appears to individuals or groups who ritualistically invoke her name in an act of how do you say that? Ketoptromancy? What? This is done by repeatedly chanting her name into a mirror placed in a dim or candlelit room. I was right about the candles. There we go. More modern versions of the ritual are played in a restroom. The name must be uttered 3 times or some other specified number of times. What? Some stories suggest you must chant her name into the bathroom mirror 47 times before she will come out. Imagine just standing in front of the mirror in the bathroom going, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary, Bloody Mary. And then your parents walk in and they're like, what the heck are you doing?
I'm summoning Bloody Mary.
The Bloody Mary apparition allegedly appears as a corpse, witch, and ghost that can either be friendly, evil, or a demonic spirit, and is sometimes seen covered in blood, hence the name. The lore surrounding the ritual states that participants may endure the apparition screaming at them, cursing them, strangling them, stealing their soul, drinking their blood, or scratching their eyes out. Oh! Some variations of the ritual called Bloody Mary by a different name, Hell Mary and Mary Worth, are popular examples. The modern legend of Hanako-san in Japan strongly parallels the Bloody Mary mythology. I never thought about that. That's interesting. Okay, now it's talking about identification. There is some debate on the identification of Bloody Mary and if she is based on a real woman. A number of historical figures have been put forward as candidates for Mary, including Mary I of England, daughter of Henry I don't know what VIII is because I've added Roman numerals, and Catherine of Aragon. I'm sorry, I don't know how to pronounce these. Aragon. I don't know how to pronounce that. Aragon. I don't know, guys. Who had around 300 religious Protestant dissenters burned at the stake during her reign, earning her the nickname Bloody Mary by her Protestant opponents, and Mary Worth, who has been identified as either a woman who killed slaves escaping the American South via the Underground Railroad, or a woman who was burned at the stake during the witch trials in the early modern period. Wow, I had no idea there's so much lore behind Bloody Mary. Alright, now let's get into the versions of her story. So, the one that I heard, I remember I was probably 10 or 11 and I was getting curious about Bloody Mary because me and my friends were talking about summoning her, and I didn't really think it was a good idea, so I didn't do it. They did. They told me these creepy stories that there was like this person staring at them that called them child. That one was weird. And I didn't really believe them, to be honest. Like, I did at the time, but like looking back, they were probably just saying that because we were little kids. Little kids say weird things. And so the version that I heard when I was looking up a story, I can't remember what website this was on because it was a long time ago and I don't go to that school anymore, so ignore that. That's just the backdrop. Actually, that reminds me, I'm gonna go off on a tangent here real quick. Last night there was a creepy black spider in my bed and I took my eyes off it for 1 second and it was gone, and I literally tore apart. What am I saying? Oh my god, that just proves that I didn't get any sleep last night. I tore apart my bed to find it and stayed up until like 1:30 in the morning and barely got any sleep. I also had such a weird dream that it was like so disturbing that my dream actually put an age restriction on it and went on with some other random event in my dream. Yeah, anyway, back to the video. Oh my god. Okay, give me a second, I'll be right back. Okay, it should stay put now. It literally slapped me in the face in slow motion. Anyway, the version of the story I heard was that it was probably like the 1800s and there was this family and she had a daughter. She was probably like in her late teens, early 20s. She was young. And it was like during the plague era or something. Like it was some kind of sickness was going around, some like really fatal one. I don't think it was the plague. Did I just spit when I said that? I don't think it was the plague, but it was some kind of like fatal disease that she had, and it was going around. She caught it and she died, but at least they thought she died. So they put her in a casket, they buried her in a graveyard. I don't remember the reason for this, but at some point they ended up digging her up, and I'm honestly not entirely sure why, because it doesn't really make sense in the story, but I remember it must have, like, something must have happened that they realized, oh, she must be alive, or something like that. Like, some kind of doctor might have been like, oh, wait a second, we forgot that this vital sign means that she's alive and not dead, so we just buried her alive and traumatized her. But I don't know, I can't remember exactly how the story goes. This was a while ago, okay? They dug her up and they found her covered in blood, like she had been scratching at the casket and her nails were all bloody and there was like blood everywhere, but she eventually suffocated and actually died in the casket when she was buried alive. And they used a mirror, they put a mirror under her nose to like see if it fogged up. And apparently when they did that, her soul was trapped in the mirror, and so she became Bloody Mary, and she lived inside people's mirrors and terrorized them. So that's the version that I know. It was a little bit far-fetched to me. I don't think that actually happened. Like, How do you trap your soul in a mirror if it's just like being used to see if you're still breathing? I don't know, I never understood that in the story. When I first heard it, I was kind of confused, but that's what I remember. The second version that I heard, I remember somebody told me this. I can't remember who, but I don't really know her anymore, I don't think. I knew her for like a week. Because we went to this like class together or something that was like a week long. I don't know, it was like that. It was like that kind of thing. We were talking about Bloody Mary and like the slit mouth woman and like a bunch of other creepy urban legend type things. I remember her saying something, or maybe we were theorizing, or we were talking about Bloody Mary's backstory, and something came up about her husband pushing her into a mirror and the glass broke and started cutting her and killed her or something, so she was trapped in mirrors and she came back for her husband and killed him. I don't know. But it was something like that. Alright, now I'm gonna get into the story of Mary Worth, who is one of the versions of Bloody Mary. I'm reading from a website again, yes. Is Bloody Mary real? Some people think so, based on the story of which Mary Worth. It's fair to say that the Bloody Mary history is long and, well, extremely bloodied. Many people already believe that Mary was a witch simply because she lived in the forest in an extremely small cabin and was known around the local village for selling tinctures and herbal remedies. Locals were very wary of her and didn't want to get too close, fearful that she'd curse them or their animals, and those who chose to use her remedies were sometimes even shunned by the very religious for partaking in Wicca? What does that mean? Soon, small girls started to go missing. The people in the village looked everywhere that they could think of for them, but they just could not think of where she could be. A few brave folk even ventured toward Bloody Mary's cabin in search for the girls there, and although the witch denied all knowledge of the girls' disappearances, the families were suspicious. Her usually elderly and haggard appearance had drastically changed, and she was starting to appear more feminine and youthful. The villagers were suspicious, but there was little they could do. The Bloody Mary story continues with the miller's daughter. One night, the poor girl was captivated by a mysterious noise that only she could hear, whilst her mom was sitting up in bed treating a very bad toothache using, as luck would have it, an herbal tincture that she bought from Mary. The miller's wife was very frightened and shouted for her husband to come and help and follow her daughter. They were shouting at her daughter for her to come back, but to no avail, as it was almost as though she was following an unspoken and unseen force. Getting the help of a few townsfolk, the town farmer noticed that there was a light at the edge of the woods. When they got closer, they noticed again that Mary Worth was standing in a clearing next to a huge oak tree. She was holding a wand, pointing it towards the miller's home, and was almost glowing with an unnatural light, and the miller's daughter was headed straight toward that light. When people ask, what is Bloody Mary, it's quite hard to answer, particularly as witches don't typically have wands or glow with an unnatural light, but it's fair to say that most people imagine her as a witch or some other type of supernatural being. Once the farmers and the miller's father noticed just what Mary Worth was doing, they set upon her with pitchforks and guns, and when she realized that everyone from the village knew what she was, she broke the spell and made for the forest. So how did Bloody Mary die? Well, she wasn't quick enough for the farmer, quickly loading his gun with silver bullets in the event that Mary ever decided to turn her attention towards his daughter. He fired a shot and caught her in the hip. She was caught kicking, thrashing, and screaming, and tied to a stake, and a bonfire was promptly built so that the supposed witch could be gone for good. As she was burning, she set a curse upon the villagers and told them that if they ever dared to utter her name in a mirror, she would be back for them. Her spirit would return to wherever they summoned her from to exact her revenge. Unfortunately for the villagers with the missing children, when they got back home to the village and returned to Mary's house and did a proper search, they found what they were looking for. Rows and rows of unmarked graves. It seemed that she'd been using the blood of her children to make herself more youthful. And that is another version of the Bloody Mary story. This was from the website hauntedrooms.co.uk. For the record, this is not my website. I do not own this website. This is somebody else's gatherment of information. Gatherment? Is that a word? I don't think that's a word. New word unlocked. Gatherment. Gathering, I guess, of a gatherment. gatherment of information disclaimer, so. Alright, now we're gonna go to a more historical version of her story. And another disclaimer, this isn't my website, it is ebsco.com, and this article was published by Rebecca Zukauskas? I don't know how to pronounce that. Bloody Mary is a well-known figure in folklore associated with a popular ritual game often played by young people, particularly in the United States. Participants typically gather in a dark bathroom, standing before a mirror and repeatedly calling her name with variations in the number of repetitions. The legend suggests that if the ritual is performed correctly, Bloody Mary may appear in the mirror, often depicted as a ghostly figure, which can vary in appearance based on local interpretations. The origins of the Bloody Mary legend are unclear, with different stories across cultures attributing her character to various historical figures, including possible links to Queen Mary I of England and narratives of witches or tragic young girls. The game is often linked to themes of fear, superstition, and the challenges of adolescence, particularly for young women, as it evokes common anxieties related to puberty. Variants of the game and its figure exist in other cultures as well, such as Sweden's Svarta Madam and different interpretations of the United Kingdom. The interplay of the mirror, darkness, and the concept of a spectral woman reflects deeper psychological themes related to self-identity and societal pressures, making the Bloody Mary legend a fascinating study of folklore, tradition, and cultural expression. So that's really interesting, actually. Alright, so thank you for watching today's video. That's gonna be it for today. There's so much information on Bloody Mary all over the place, so if you want me to do another video on Bloody Mary or one on like Teke Teke or something like that, then you can let me know. I might actually do a video where I try to summon Bloody Mary and see if anything actually happens, if anything creepy happens. I'll just have the camera recording the whole time. But with that, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!